Welcome to OZ TV. Here we talk about everything that you need to know. We talk about family, we talk about relationships, we talk about children, homes. We talk about virtually everything. So I want you to subscribe, like, comment, click on the notification bell for more videos coming up. And watch out for a new show coming up called Spit It All. Thank you. Good afternoon. Welcome to another segment of Spit It All. And this is your host, is your man, Energy. And today we'll be talking about wives and side chick. And with me here in the studio is our counselor, Joy. So you're welcome.
Thank you, viewers.
Okay, today we're talking about wives and side chicks. And I'm sure a lot of us will want to know, the problems that families encounter with side chicks. So, please, Joy, please, can you define who a wife is and who a side chick is?
Alright, a wife is a female partner in a relationship who have separated from her parents and changed her name to cleave to her partner, which is her spouse, her husband, to build a family. A side chick is a mistress. The other woman that is kept in secret with no intention of bringing her home. She's a game player, and the intention of anyone keeping a side chick is just to play games and have fun. A side chick is not nobody has intention of making a side chick a permanent thing. Every man that have a side chick plays around, and when he's done with one, he moves to the other. So a side chick is just something private with no seriousness attached to it.
This is something. So, in other words, you're saying men just have side chicks just to play around with. It's not something serious. It's just something to have fun with. Okay. So why is it that most married men always look for a side chick after having a wife at home? They go, they get married to a woman, and they now go outside in search of another woman. Why is that?
Let me start by saying that men are wired differently from women. A man is moved by what he sees. A woman is moved by what she hears. When what a man is seeing is no longer pleasant to him, he intends to make a change because he wants to keep feeding his eyes. And those fantasies, he wants to keep seeing it. Now, men have different excuses for why they keep side chicks. There are several excuses why they keep side chicks. Accusation of being terrible in bed, being old and unkept, being fat, nature of a man, per se. But guess what? Before I go further to explain, every side chick should have this at the back of their mind. No man will want to leave his wife for a side chick.
True.
No man will want to marry a side chick. Any man that tends towards marrying a side chick, there are things extraordinary, of which I'm not going to go into that now. But you see, a side chick, for them, they said they don't have stress with side chick unlike their wives at home. Wives is burdened with kids. Wives are burdened with kids, sorry. They are burdened with responsibility of keeping the house. They are burdened with the responsibility of taking care of the home front. But the side chick simply prepares herself and waits for the fun. Why? Because more of is trade by barter. So the man sees the side chick of being stress-free compared to the wife coming back home. There are things his mind already is wired towards. I need to see when I get home, and maybe those things are not kept or not in order. But the side chick doesn't have any responsibility.
True.
Her responsibility is get a wide sex with you anyhow you want it, and you in turn take care of her.
So, let me say this. From what you just mentioned now, you said men, number one, are wired to explore.
They're adventurous in nature.
And then, you further said that women, which are the wives, that sometimes they are unkept, they have a lot of things they have to take care of in the home front, thereby sometimes neglecting what they're supposed to do for the man. And then he goes out in search of the side chick. But I want to, ask this question. Most times, these same men, sometimes the men, they don't give those wives fun as they give the side chicks. Sometimes they don't give them attention like they give the side chick. Don't you think that might be one of the causes of the women not being properly taken care of, not looking beautiful? All those things can kind of affect the woman's look because they are not being given financial support from the husband.
Apart from financial support, because it's only a foolish man that want to take a side chick serious and neglect his home. Now, let me base my discussion on men that are mature and have right thinking. You see, every man you see that don't take care of the wife at home or pay more attention to the side chick outside. Okay, let me now explain something to you. Do you know that when you buy a tissue paper, you know that your tissue paper, you just use it and you throw it away?
That's true.
Then you go buy another one. When a woman is burdened with so much pressure and problems at home to take care of, she's thinking so much, even thinking about the husband. Then you come back and you want to be wild with her most of the time. You find out that this woman will tell you, it's either telling on her body, or she has emotional problem at that time,
Exactly.
or she have the burden of children. But the side chick does not have any of that.
That's what I'm saying.
Let me tell you. And the man at the back of his mind knows that when I'm done with this one, I find another one. And a man can even keep one side chick, keep two, keep three. Do you know what marvels me? They keep these three, spend on them. Meanwhile, the wife at home is less expensive.
So what do a woman or a wife at home that realizes that the husband has a side chick, what should she do?
Nothing. See, the moment you know your husband have a side, you know why I said nothing at the first time?
Yeah.
Because a typical African woman will want to fight. A typical African woman will want to
she's
react.
Yeah.
A typical African woman will want to break grounds, react and all that. But a woman that is matured, marriage is not for ladies, it's not for girls, it's for women who are ready to marry. The moment you get, let me tell you, every woman should learn a brain work. Be tactical in thinking. Be tactical. That man, you live with him in the house, right? After doing that, he comes back home. Change your strategy at once. You just have to change your strategy where he is. The man will be on the office and side chick will send message to him. Bo, I miss you. But the woman at home is burdened with, I'm washing plates, I'm taking care of this, I'm doing that, I'm doing that. You forgot that there are things you do to spice up marriage. Create time for yourself. Create time. Why? The moment you find out, change strategy.
Okay.
Begin to do things that will bring him home. At all costs. Before he comes home, if you know he comes home by 7 o'clock, my God, be too sexily dressed. From the door, let him feel the aroma of the woman he has.
Wow.
Send him messages. Make him understand you're up for your game. Then begin to ask him questions like, do you enjoy the kind of sex we have? Should I improve? Are there things I do that you don't like? Are there things I need to improve? Are there things you want me to improve on?
Yeah.
When you begin to ask him those questions, you are appealing to his conscience.
Yeah, because I think most of those side chicks, they drive those men wild when it comes to sexual activities. They're like, the whole fantasy a man wants in a woman is like they give it to them. I think that is equally as a lot. What do you think?
Any woman that makes love to the husband and you don't exhaust him to be found out after that act have not done a work. And that is what side chicks do. They practically exhaust them.
So, most times now, when women, as in the married women, when they can't handle the fact that they are being, hurt, if their husband has a side chick or is cheating on them, they tend to take it out on the man by cheating as well. What do you have to say about that?
I'm not even exhausted the question you asked me, what should a woman do? Mm-hmm. Let me tell you, in the summary of everything we are talking about, there's one part you will not leave. Mm-hmm. Prayers.
Yeah, prayers.
See, before God, both of you went before God to take an oath to stick to each other. Is it not? Yeah. Your wedding ring, does it have an opening where you can break it?
No.
It is round. That means there is a bond. The moment you find out your husband is cheating on you, go to God first and report him to God. Not to anybody. Say, Father, I've come before you. You brought us together. I am reporting this man to you. You bring out the bond both of you have, which is your ring, and you present it to God. You say, I came in covenant with this person on a day like this. Don't forget the day of your wedding. That date. You say, Lord, rise up and fight. The fight is not physical, it is spiritual. That thing which is behind the man, pushing him to do it, deal with that thing. Not to deal with the man himself.
So it's a battle you need to fight spiritually
before you begin to fight physically, whatever. Now, you going to cheat because your husband is cheating. You don't have a legal ground anymore. No legal ground. You can't come before God, you can't report him. You can't raise your hand and say, Father, fight for me. No legal ground anymore. Exactly. You've grounded yourself. Just like you shot yourself on the leg. Now, at that point, what are you supposed to do? Okay, we've talked about the steps you're supposed to take and all that.
Yeah.
Become sexually active, up your game, change your strategy, become tactical. Now, cheating on the man, let me tell you something women don't know. Yes, you're catching your phone because it's sex. You might be hyperactive when it comes to sex. But let's not forget, we own this body. We can control it. No matter how hyperactive you are, you can talk to this body and bring it under subjection. You know?
That's true.
No woman should cheat. Why? A woman incubates. During the process of incubation, something is growing. Something is growing. You have a whole nation you're incubating. I'm sure people are wondering what I mean by nation. It's only a woman that can carry a child for 9 months. Go through the process of that level between life and death and bring forth. That is an incubation. You begin to groom. Now, cheating, are you a role model to your children? You have a whole nation in front of you. You're growing a nation. To your 4th, to your 10th generation. We have to be careful because most of those things might repeat itself. And you begin to see it with your eye and tell yourself, I did this.
And then the regret now comes.
We come. Number 2, don't ever do something that will leave you in regret all the days of your life. Because definitely that man will come back home. And I tell women that your husband is cheating is not an option for you to separate from him or divorce. It is not an option. The only time